SQSH Turns Four, written by Luca Tsai, narrated by Amanda Im. SQSH turns 4 years old this month. It's been a wild ride, y'all. Section 1. Successes. Since founding in 2019, we have created 3 full-time staff positions, launched 10 programs, pivoted our organizational structure, redefined our values, grown our budget by 10 times, connected with thousands of community members, and collaborated with 100-plus partners. We revamped our mission statement, established 2 office locations, hosted 30-plus events, worked with 200-plus volunteers, provided 200-plus hours of peer support, facilitated 80-plus trainings, sold 100 anthologies, and more. In the past year, we offered 97.5 hours of peer counseling through our warm line to 169-plus callers, including trans Missourians and their families impacted by anti-trans legislation. We've launched our Squishbook resource guide, including vetted by badges, reaching 1,745-plus users. We published a fair housing report called Transforming Housing with partners EHOC and Thistle. We published a report on 56 trans callers' experiences with gender-affirming healthcare in St. Louis. We facilitated 17-plus courses for 15 partners across a range of topics, including queer terminology and allyship. 96% felt that the course helped improve their ability to support and advocate for LGBTQIA+ people. We hosted 1 fall community healing festival, reaching 89+ people who expressed that this event created a safe, affirming space to build community. We published our first queer community anthology, reaching 84 people through sales and 2,318 people through social media. Finally, we published a storytelling campaign featuring 58 stories and 35 queer St. Louisans, reaching 3,000+ people through our social media and newsletter. SQSH's work allowed us to strengthen our local network of LGBTQIA+ peer support, pilot a community-owned resource database, launch a storytelling campaign and community anthology, implement transformative justice approaches to intra-community conflict, center and prioritize Black trans needs and voices, seed a community of queer healers, build capacity for systems change and coalition-building work, and mount a rapid response to anti-trans legislation passed in Missouri. But it would be myopic of me to define our journey by the sheer number of things we did. It's very difficult to actually move the needle on queer liberation work, to create systemic change, to quantify the relationships we built, or to measure the lessons we learned. And it's just as important to look back on the mistakes we made, do our best to promote repair, and hold ourselves accountable to personal transformation. Section 2. Struggles. Despite SQSH and our partners' best efforts at advocacy and activism, anti-queer actors in the state legislature and around the region are ramping up anti-trans attacks, legislation, and rhetoric, elevating feelings and experiences of danger and lack of safety for queer, especially trans St. Louisans. Our staff and volunteers face high workloads and struggle to find opportunities for rest and recharging. Since founding in 2019, we have struggled with moving out of a scarcity mindset, truly centering the most marginalized members of our community, figuring out where we want to work inside versus outside of existing systems, learning about and integrating abolitionist and Black liberation values, and meeting community members' needs in the present while also strategizing towards long-term transformation. We've also struggled with building meaningful relationships while reaching larger swaths of our community, prioritizing queer St. Louisans while bringing in allies, and building coalition with partners while navigating conflict and political disagreement amidst a fractured community organizing ecosystem. I've learned about the importance of embodying our transformative justice values in our day-to-day interactions, of valuing relationships and honest conversations, of diagnosing problems before jumping to solutions. I still struggle with spreading our resources and capacity too thin, especially when we see the need for holistic approaches and strategies for our queer liberation work. I still struggle with overwork, perfectionism, and effectively sharing power. I've noticed that the nonprofit industrial complex often exerts a dampening effect on our most radical work, making it difficult for us and our partners to have the resources and imagination to dream and work towards the most liberated world possible for us and our trans siblings, especially when the current realities seem so bleak. Section 3. Fundraising for staff expansion. To address some of these challenges, we aim to raise $10,000 from our community this fall. in conjunction with 3 other major grants. This will allow us to hire 3 additional full-time staff in 2024 and start offering health insurance benefits for staff. New staff will be focused on Black queer community outreach, queer youth leadership development and programming, as well as coalition building with other community leaders and organizers to build systems change capacity. Funding staff salary is essential for SQSH to sustain and scale up our programs. It would invest in Black and Brown trans leadership and allow our staff to further develop their skills for social change. Our staff play a coordination role in every aspect of SQSH's operations, allowing every member's skill to shine and contribute to SQSH. This funding would bolster SQSH's capacity, allowing us to implement new and existing programming and make long-term plans. We cannot understate the importance of salary funding to SQSH's organizational growth and health. In addition to maintaining our current programs, we will be piloting and launching the following new programs using expanded staffing. 1. Systems change capacity building for queer community leaders and organizers. 2. Pilot initiative to strengthen community connectedness, peer support, and identity-affirming school climate for queer youth. 3. Black, queer, and trans outreach and power building. 4. Monthly community events, for example, Heal Meals with Moho Justice. We will also be strengthening support and sustainability for existing programs, like 1. Distribution of queer community anthology. 2. Monthly healing spaces and trainings for Starling Healer cohort. And 3. Allyship trainings for partners. Your donation will help us to increase staffing to expand the scope of our programs, center the leadership and needs of the most marginalized members of our community, and develop systems change capacity for tackling the root causes of anti-LGBTQIA oppression. Section 4. Why now? SQSH is currently facing a momentous opportunity for growth to expand the impact of our work. With the trusted relationships we've been building since 2019, we are now better poised than ever before to work in coalition with our community and partners to tackle the root causes of gender and sexuality-based oppression at multiple levels of intervention. Amidst the despair and depression caused by anti-trans attacks and legislation by right-wing politicians and groups, your funds will help SQSH contribute to queer movement building by strengthening our relationships with other queer-led groups in St. Louis, deepening our political analysis of queer and Black liberation issues, bringing in more people, especially community healers and organizers, into queer movement work, meeting the survival, social, and health needs of queer St. Louisans, amplifying queer stories and voices within the region and at the state legislature, honing the peer support and advocacy skills of our staff and volunteers, rallying against anti-queer institutions, and uplifting glimmers of queer joy and gender self-determination. SQSH's work challenges existing systems by centering the leadership of queer St. Louisans. Thank you for supporting us on our journey. For more information on how to donate to SQSH's work, you can visit thesquish.org/donate. This piece also features a couple of photos. The first photo is of SQSH staff and 2023 peer counselors celebrating graduation from Helpline training in 2023. And the photo is of 7 queer people smiling and standing next to each other, proudly holding up training graduation certificates. They're standing outside in Forest Park in front of a canopy tent with mini pride, trans, and bi flags. The second photo is a group photo of event attendees at SQSH's Fall Community Healing Photoshoot and Open Mic event in 2022. The photo is of a group of queer people sitting and standing in a crowd. Most folks are wearing white, black, and blue masks. They are standing outside in Tower Grove Park with beautiful yellow and orange autumn trees behind them. The third photo is of volunteers Shakila, she, her pronouns, July, they, them pronouns, Linda, any pronouns, and Beth, they, them pronouns, representing SQSH at Black Pride St. Louis in 2023. The photo features 4 Black, Asian, and white volunteers standing behind a SQSH table in a bright indoor room. The SQSH table showcases flyers, anthologies, merch, pride flags, and giveaway items, and the table itself is covered by a colorful SQSH tablecloth. The fourth photo is of volunteers Linda, any pronouns, and Juan, he, they pronouns, representing SQSH at Promo's Protest for Trans Lives at the Missouri Capitol in 2023. The photo is of 2 people standing outside next to a SQSH table, covered in pride flags, flyers, and items. Behind them is the Missouri Capitol building. The fifth photo is of staff members Amanda, she, they pronouns, and Luca, they, them pronouns, and volunteer Kelsey, they, them pronouns, giving remarks at a Trans Day of Remembrance community gathering in 2022. The photo is of 3 people standing side by side in an outdoor pavilion with solemn expressions. They are bundled in warm clothes and wearing masks. One of the people, Luca, is holding a microphone and giving remarks. The final photo is of Squish staff and volunteers engaging in a group yoga session at Empowered Spaces in 2013. The photo is of 7 masked people sitting on green and blue yoga mats in a bright indoor studio space.